Hello and welcome to Motor Controls. In today's video, we will be discussing a reversing motor starter. Our reversing motor starter has four basic components. We have a forward contactor, we have a reverse contactor, we have a set of overloads, and we have interlocks. So we do not want the forward and reverse motor starters on at the same time. So we have a mechanical interlock in between the two. So when this one is engaged, this one will not physically be able to engage. And when this one is engaged, this one will not physically engage either. So that is a mechanical interlock that will not allow these two to be on at the same time. We also have electrical interlocks, which are normally closed set of contacts of the forward motor starter that will not allow the reverse motor starter to come on. With the forward motor starter not engaged, we have continuity between our terminal and the coil of the reverse. And this already has a wire attached from the back side of the normally closed contacts to the coil of the reverse. So we have continuity from there to there whenever the forward motor starter is not engaged. But when we engage the forward motor starter, we no longer have continuity. And it's the same thing with the reversing contactor. This is the normally closed of the reverse contactor. So whenever that is not energized, we have continuity to the coil of the forward. But when we engage the reversing contactor, we no longer have continuity between the two. So electrically, this will not receive power to turn on the forward whenever the reverse is engaged. So to reverse a three-phase motor, we must interchange two of the three leads. By industrial standards, we usually interchange L1 with L3. So in our forward motor starter, we have L1 connected to our L1 supply, we have L2 connected to our L2 supply, and we have L3 connected to our L3 supply. So when the forward motor starter is on, we pass power from our L1 to the bottom side of our contactor through the overload to the T1 that is connected to the motor. And our L2 will go through the contactor, through the overload, to T2 to our motor. And L3 will go through the contactor, through the overload to the motor. So whenever we have our reversing contactor, we interchange our L1 with our L3. So we have a jumper that takes L1 to 3. And then we have a jumper that goes from L2 to L2. And then we have a jumper that goes from L3 to L1. So whenever our reversing contactor is on, L1 now will be connected to our L3 of our reversing contactor. And then when our reversing contactor is on, L3 will come through the jumper on the bottom, and it will go to T3 of the forward, and then T3 to the motor through the overload. And then our L2 will be connected through the contactor to the forward contactor through the overload to the motor. And then L1 will now be L3 that goes through to the forward contactor through the overload to T1. So whenever this contactor is on, it will be T1, T2, and T3. When this contactor is on, it will be L1, L2, and L3. That is an overview of our reversing motor starter. Thanks for watching the video. My voice is getting. Let's take a pause on that. Okay. Okay. Let's just keep the cam. So whenever our reversing contactor is on, L1